so shalom, shalom. I'm not a host, man. I'm getting used to being a host. All right, so shalom, shalom. Welcome to Shabbat Conversations with the Avads. I am Shad.
And I'm Chris.
All right, so today's episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of building with someone in a relationship, right? Now, so I think a good way to jump off this topic is to talk about the ways we built with each other. So I'll just begin on my part of the story. You know, she has her own story, her own things in her head, the way things played out. But I'm going to tell you the truth of what really happened, okay? So anyways, you know, so we met each other at Arkansas State University out in Jonesboro, Arkansas, if you're not from Arkansas area. And that's where we met. You know, we were 18 years old. It was like the first semester of college, right? It was the first semester in November. I want you to kill me. November, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, we met in November of 2014. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we met in November of 2014. I'm going to say, I don't want you, I'm trying to get my dates right.
It ain't a special date. It's just a date. We just met.
It's a special date because she still has our date when we became friends in her calendar.
No. Is it?
Yeah, I know it is. Exactly. So we met each other in November of 2014 in the cafeteria. So we was in the cafeteria. I was with my friend. Shout out to my boy Mike Hughley. I was giving his government name. Sorry. Oh yeah, he go by Mike Galley. So my bad, Mike Galley. Check his music out. So anyways, I was with him, and Chris was with a guy named Jay at the time. Yeah.
Not with. We were just.
No, just friends. Yeah. My bad. I didn't want to make it seem like that, but she was just friends with a guy named Jay, and Jay was cool with Mike, and so I guess he saw Mike and and decided to come walk over there to sit down with us, and Chris was with him. And so she sat down with him, and so we all four of us had like a nice little conversation just about life, about school, about whatever he was talking about, just really random stuff. And me and Chris kind of hit it off, And so after that, she invited me to what was it? You invited me to
a symphony.
A symphony, yes, it was. So it was a symphony. So
one of my friends that I worked in the lab with was playing in the symphony.
Right.
And so I was going to support my friend, and I jokingly said we had ran into each other on campus like the next day. Was it the next day?
Yeah, because you didn't ask me that night. You like ran into me like the next day in the caf again.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't that
we were in front of the Wilson building. I mean, on the side of the Wilson building.
Oh, man, it's blurry. My bad.
Clearly. Anyways, we ran into each other walking on campus, and just chopping it up, talking.
Right.
We had only seen each other the day before.
Yeah, right.
And Shah was claiming he wasn't trying to shoot his shot. But anyways, this is side story from the actual topic.
Okay.
But so then me jokingly, just in the conversation, was like, well, I'm going to a symphony tonight. You should come. Not thinking he was gonna come.
No, she actually wanted me to come. See, she played as if
it really was a dig on you. Like, I was really thinking, like, this boy is not about to come to no symphony. That's the arts, the fine arts.
Yeah.
And I just was like, nah, he's not going to come to no symphony. But he not going to put on me that I was not friendly. So I was like, let me invite him to seem friendly. Not thinking he's going to come. Nah. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And I was like, okay.
See, this is the reason why I came. One, I thought she was a cool person. So I was like, you know what, I know I wanted to go, but I had to go for an assignment. See, I had most freshmen, we take this music class.
Fine arts. I was going because I enjoyed the arts.
So I had to go for a grade.
He was going for
I had to go.
But I didn't know that.
I had to write a paper about the symphony. So Slick had to go. So
but he was not going until I invited him. So I ended that night supporting my friend, and I'm sitting like not too far from the entrance because I came in late. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting not too far from the entrance. I see Shad and Terrence roll in, and I'm like, they did not come. Like I was shook that they.
No, it wasn't Terrence. It was Mike.
No, it was Terrence.
Dang. Wait.
Yes, because you and Terrence drove y'all over there. It was Terrence. Because Terrence promised he called it. he called that we was gonna get together. That we was gonna get together.
Dang, it's crazy. It was Terrence. You're right.
But that was how our friendship
That's
started.
how it sparked. Because after the symphony, I tried to ask for a number. Just on some friendly stuff. See, she always thinks somebody trying to shoot they shot at her and stuff.
I was done with. At that point, that was the end of the freshman year, so I was like, nobody else needs my number.
Right, and so I was just asking her number because I wanted to talk to her more and build a friendship. Yes, I want. See, I'm always about building friendships. Right, I don't never try to date someone and I don't know them. I've never been like that. So I'm trying to build a friendship, and so she tried. At first, she said, "No, I ain't got my phone on me," or something like that.
No, I said I don't have a phone.
Yeah, she said I don't have. She said I don't have a phone. I'm like. Oh, so you're just gonna play me like that? And so then, obviously, I guess she felt bad that she just dissed me. So then she found, oh, here you go, right? All haphazardly, here you go.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not another person. They have my number. And
it's been history ever since. Ever since she gave me her number, we was talking left and right, all night type stuff, to the point where it's like 2 weeks later. This is moving too fast.
This is not the topic of this discussion. This is getting off.
This is about building. This is all part of the story, baby. All part of the story. Anywho, so fast forward because we will be here 30 hours talking about that, right? Mm-hmm. So fast forward, we've been friends for some months. And then, obviously we're starting to get serious, but at the same time, still trying to play like we're just friends. Everybody around campus can tell. Y'all like each other. Why don't y'all claim each other? Type stuff, But obviously, she's from a strong Christian background, so like, shoot, I ain't finna claim nobody until you meet my parents, and they approve of it, and all that kind of stuff. So we ain't finna do all that sneaky dating stuff. No, you gonna meet my family. They gonna approve, and then we'll court to marry. We ain't doing all that play stuff, So I respected that about her. And I was about that too. Like, I was a born again Christian at that point too. So it was like, I was trying to be serious. I'm not trying to mess around. I ain't trying to just, date around, fool around. I ain't on that. So I was, and crazy thing was, I wasn't even looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just, at that point, freshman year of college, you're just trying to meet people and build relationships and build friendships at that point. So I wasn't necessarily looking to date anyone. I wasn't looking for, I'm not gonna say it like that, but I wasn't looking to, date her and stuff like that. I wasn't looking for that. I just thought she was really, really cool. We could be really good friends and see where we go from there, right? And so, months go by, we become really, really close. We start liking each other. And I got confirmation early on, I'll say from the Most High, that she was the one for me. Like, it was just like this strong, like, whoa, like, wow, she's it. And it was very early on, like, because Chris, she's a very innocent person, very green, hadn't been through much in her life, hadn't kissed nobody, been with nobody, like legit, like different from all kind of other females. Like the way she think, the way she carried herself, like, the way she looked at life. It was like, wow. I've never really been around a female like her. Like, there's been I've seen mature females that had a different thought pattern than other females. I've seen it, but like, Chris was like something special. Like, okay, there's a level of purity to her that's like I've never seen, right? And so that was the most attractive thing about her. Like, wow, like she has her head on straight for real. And she ain't about no games. And so I got confirmation very early on. Yeah, she's it. She's it. She didn't feel the same way. I'll let her tell her side as far as that is concerned.
I didn't ever feel. I feel like men are always on the level like, this is the confirmation 100%. I never felt that early on, but I just knew you were different. Mm-hmm. I always felt that you were different. I saw potential in you from the beginning.
Right.
So I had always been very goal driven, and always had, like, from when I first got to school, I knew what my plan was. Like, I could tell you my 10-year goal of what I wanted for myself in my career and like my life.
Even through college, that 10-year plan would kind of fluctuate.
I mean, not as far as career wise.
I'm saying, but
I accomplished everything, even from when I first got to school, I accomplished everything that I said I would.
It didn't fluctuate at all? Like, as far as, like, at some point, like, oh, I've thought about this, but maybe my 10-year plan will look a little different.
Not as far as career. I came to pharmacy school. I mean, I came to undergrad knowing I was going to go to pharmacy school.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to also get my PhD or try to get my PhD.
That came on later. That came on later.
But
yeah.
So everything that I set out, though, to do, I had in my, I'm like, I have to make good grades. I'm not playing when it comes to studying.
Yeah.
I know that I want to be successful. I like nice things, so I have to have a career that affords my nice things.
Yeah.
So that was always my head. I guess from that standpoint, my head was on straight. But I saw potential in you to be that way. You were not always that way when we first met.
Yeah, I will admit, you know, I don't think I was a bum.
No, you never were a
bum. A trash person by no means when it comes to career. But
school just was not as important
to me. You know, I wasn't. Yeah, school wasn't as important for me. I came in college kind of taking it as a joke. Like, I think it's gonna be like high school. You know, that the workload wasn't gonna be that hard, and I was, you know, I was rocked, right? And so, and I always had goals. Like, from high school, I was gonna be in IT. I was gonna be in tech. So I wanted to be like maybe a video game designer or be like some kind of software developer, right? That's kind of like, that was my goal. And then once I got to college and started taking taking those courses, those IT courses, you know, I started kind of falling out of love with some of the rigors of IT. It was a lot, you know. And so in college, I kind of didn't really have a direction. Like, you know, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I feel like I'm going to finish IT. Like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to finish it. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do in IT, but I'm going to do something in IT. And so I didn't really have like a clear-cut goal, but I knew what I wanted to do. But I just, you know, kind of just going through the motions, trying to figure it out. You know, 18, 19 years old, I'm just trying to figure it out because growing up, my whole purpose, my whole goal was to make it to NBA. Like, when I growing up, you ain't gotta make that face, bro. Chill out, yo. So, anyways, growing up, I wanted to play ball, yo. I wanted to go to the league. Yo, listen. See, they called me Baby Iverson growing up. You know what I'm saying? They called me Baby Iverson. I was cold. But anyways, so I was that was my, like, from like 5 to about. Yo, it's part of my story, yo. From about 5 to about like 14, I thought, yo, I want to be an NBA player. But dude, by the time I hit 14, 15, like, that's out. Yeah. I might ain't go D3. But anyways, so by the time I got to high school, I was like, you know what? I need a plan B, C, whatever. So quit laughing at me, yo. That's not funny. Anyways, I need like a plan B or C. So I'm like, you know what? I love tech. I love computers. I love gaming. So like, I want to be like maybe like a game designer, game developer. So like, you know, I took a lot of had a lot of STEM classes in high school where I like had to build a computer, Ethernet cables, and I know I did all that kind of stuff in high school. So I kind of like, I really liked it. But then like once I got to college, shoot, I ain't gonna lie, it was a lot, and I kind of started falling out of love. And then the people that I was in class with, wasn't really mingling with them. It was just a weird vibe. I didn't really like none of my teachers either, so it was just, I don't know, start falling in love with IT. Whatever. And so from that standpoint, I didn't really have like a clear direction, you know. But I always knew I wanted to probably do something in IT though, but I just didn't know.
And I made it very clear, if he was going to be serious about pursuing a relationship with me, he needs to figure it out real quick, or I was going to have to chuck deuces. Yeah. Not even from a standpoint of, my thing was I was attracted to somebody who was driven. So I'm like really career oriented. Mm-hmm. And even before I got a career, I just was really, if I'm gonna commit to something, I'm gonna commit 100% to it. So that was me with school. Like, I'm gonna commit and I'm gonna study. If I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. Right. And so it just was weird. It was gonna be weird to have a partner who was not to that same level. You didn't need to be in love with school. I always loved school. Right. So I didn't require you to love school. Yeah. But I just required you to put your full effort in. Yeah. And after a while, you got to that point. But I had to get onto you for you to get to that point. Yeah. A lot in the beginning. But then it became natural. Yeah. After a while. You really recovered really well.
Yeah, as far as like the nosedive that I took during school, yeah, I did recover. But that's what being with the right person can do for you. But anyway, so we'll get into that because we kind of talked about kind of how we met and kind of some of our career goals or lack thereof, and so I think that's why it's important to look at someone based on their potential rather than where they're at the current moment, especially people like our age range, right? So I don't know what it is about females as 18, 19, 20, from like 18 to 25 that thinks that they are going to get a man
who's like
that's
already
six-figure
40-year career,
and he's in his career and he's completely stable. Like,
but we're not even stable. Yeah. I'm not even to a position. This is my first year working a real job.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I can't. So just on that same, I guess, level, it would be weird for me. Well, now we're almost 27, so it might not be too weird, but it would be weird to just ask somebody to be completely ready-made. But I know if I'm looking in the mirror, I'm not even ready-made myself. Like, I haven't accomplished career goals that I have set for myself. And I've, like, gone straight through school. I haven't taken a break. So just imagine somebody, like, you took a break. It's a lot of people who take breaks. And so it's like, at 27, you don't really... Somebody's not going to have it all together. I don't know too many 27-year-olds who have it all together.
Yeah.
I don't know many 30-year-olds who have it all together.
Saying,
so it's just like but
most
we have...
don't hit
I want him to have
financial...
his own house. Yeah. I want him to have X, Y, Z.
Yeah,
I want him to have X, Y, Z. But it's like, looking back in college, it wasn't necessarily that I had a goal to build those things with my husband.
Right.
But now that we have done it and like built those things together, it's just been more enjoyable to like go through the process.
Yeah.
Of like accomplishing, because then some of the goals that we have accomplished, I can't imagine having to go through it by myself.
Right.
And then in a state by myself, like I moved to Tennessee by myself. Yeah. And I can't imagine going through those. And of course you have family, but they don't live here, so I can't imagine going through buying my first car by myself, buying a house by myself. And if people do it, it's not gonna be the end of the world. But I can't. It was more enjoyable to like go through those first with somebody else instead of those things. And obviously you go through them. I don't know. It just I was not looking for a perfect man. Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't perfect.
You still have standards, though. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, for sure. I had very high standards. Very high standards.
Very fact.
People told me several times that my standards were too high. Yeah. Several times in college. When it was like always people who wanted to talk to me but couldn't talk to me. Like, you be realistic. But it's like, no, I just had standards for certain things. And I saw potential. If it was a check that you didn't have yet, then I was like, it could come. You just have to mature. Yeah. And men mature slower than women.
It's true.
I think women forget.
And I think this is a conversation that's very important depending on the age range. Because I feel like when you're younger, like us, when we met at 18, right, you can take your time on building on those potentials because we're still kids and we still have to grow to become an adult. And that phase of change is way bigger than someone that's changing from 30 to 40. Yeah. From 18 to 25, that's a way bigger change than somebody from 30 to 40. Yeah, so I understand, like, for people that's dating later, you don't really have time to necessarily look for potential. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you should be established. At that point, you should, have a clear-cut vision on what you want to do, on your temperament, on your attitude, on what you believe, and all that kind of stuff, right?
But even that's true. Even by that token, though, you need to give somebody grace.
Still give them chance.
Give them as much grace as you would want them to give to you.
To you, that's true too.
Because you're not perfect. You're not gonna be perfect. Marriage, in a lot of ways, perfects you. Man, so it's like a lot of things that you probably haven't even noticed you do. We kind of touched on this in another episode,
right? Of course.
But a lot of things that you don't notice you do, you get to see in a marriage. So just in dating, give your somebody grace, the same level of grace that you want to give them back. It's things that you could be doing better, or things that you could improve on, or ways in life that you could be further along than what you are. So
that's true.
Just give people grace too.
Yeah, that's true. So that's why I say, man, you do have to give folks grace, and you do have to look at potential, right? Because like you said, you can't have everything ready made. Nothing that's ready made is worth it. Things that you have to build on, things that's hard as far as like things you have to work for, things that take time usually have the biggest reward. So it's good.
And that's, I don't think even, I'm sorry, but even the potential, obviously, and people like you can't bank on potential, but I think it's a level of like potential. Is like this person is growing, they're actively growing.
You have to weigh the pros and cons. Really, that's what it is. Got to weigh the pros and cons. Because like I said, like you can't just bank off potential because every human being has potential. Let's get that out the way. From the worst person to the best person, everybody has potential. Some level of some kind of potential. But what sets somebody apart is when you weigh the pros and cons of the person. Does the red flags outweigh the potential, or does the potential outweigh the red flags? That's really what it is, and depending on how big the red flag is for you. So for instance, like if someone, like I said, has patience within them, they're nurturing, they're loving, they're selfless, but they're not necessarily goal driven, or they don't have everything together as far as financially.
Career.
You can weigh that and see, okay, well, does the pros outweigh the cons, right? He may not be there financially, but he has such great character to where it's like, man, he's a great human being, right? So you got.
And I think a lot of it, because even with you were never unmotivated. That was never a thing. You just didn't like school. And I think it was really because you didn't enjoy your major. So I think if you would have been in something you would enjoy it. I enjoyed chemistry, so it was easy for me to excel because I enjoyed studying chemistry.
Like even now,
I think it's just you didn't enjoy what you were studying.
No, because even now, like now that I'm in education, we'll get into that. But just the side note, now that I'm in my master's program in education, I'm doing way better than I've ever done at any point in my, career
or
schooling period, high school. Middle school, I'm doing way better in my master's program than I've done, like I said, even in high school and college, right? So
because you enjoyed it. So I always kind of banked on it, and it was hard. It wasn't like something I was like, he just got potential. In my mind, I was like, dang, Sean don't really like school. So in my mind, it was like, they don't translate to does that translate to you not wanting to work? But it did. Like that wasn't.
I worked every year, every summer.
He don't have. It's not a thing that he don't want to work. He just don't enjoy IT. So it's like that's why he's like not willing to spend 10 hours in the library studying, and he really didn't have to. But it's like that's why he doesn't spend 15 hours on the weekend studying like I do, because I do it for enjoyment. None of my friends were studying for 15 hours on the weekend.
Of course not.
It was just me.
I thought it was crazy. Still think it's crazy. Still do it.
I try not to now, but I really need to start doing that again. But so it's just like in my mind, I had to get to the point. It's like it's not that I had to separate the fact that he didn't enjoy school, because most people don't. He didn't enjoy school with the fact that he wasn't gonna work. That was never a concern. It just was you didn't enjoy school. And to me, I thought that was a correlation, but there wasn't a correlation.
No.
Because once you figured out that you loved education and wanted to teach children, you excelled at it. And that was just like everything about it you loved. Being around kids.
Yeah.
And so I saw that he didn't have a fear of working or like was gonna be unmotivated. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing was you just wanted to provide for me. Yeah. And so it's like whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna do it.
I just had to have that confirmation. Like, okay,
is he going?
Whatever he just is willing to do, whatever he needs to provide for me. And once it got down to that, then I was like, okay, that's fine. You can not like school, but as long as you're willing to provide for me, I don't care.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important to build because the right person will help you grow. Ever since I've known her, she's done nothing but help me in every aspect of my life. Physically, spiritually, mentally, she's helped me in every area, and I have obviously God to thank or Yah to thank, but she has been a big part of motivating me in different ways. I saw how hard she worked in school, so even though I didn't enjoy my major, I did the best I could to push through that joint. And I feel like she helped me finish college for real, because like I really was struggling. But she gave me studying tips. She, was on me about, getting my work done. And so she definitely helped me so much when it came to school And obviously, even spiritually, and even all the other different aspects of my life too. Like she helped me grow significantly. So if you're with someone and they're not helping you grow, that's probably the biggest red flag you can see. Like
it definitely was both. It worked both ways.
Yeah.
I think a lot of myself. I was never struggled to study or nothing.
Right.
But a lot of myself was like self-confidence. Like I had like, and I don't want to say no, stress. I was really stressed in college.
I was someone that can help her, calm and.
Yeah, he was always the person like bring my head out of the clouds.
Balance her out.
I was very much balanced because it was. I would have made it through college, obviously, but I definitely would have been a lot more stressed in college, and a lot more. A lot of things, for instance, even applying to do the dual degree program that I'm in at UT, I probably would have never applied for the dual degree program. Like, without him encouraging me and like reassuring me that I was equipped and ready to do it, I probably would have never applied because I would have kept psyching myself out that I couldn't do it. Like I was already psyching myself out that I wasn't gonna be ready for pharmacy school, and so then putting another doctor on top of that. Like, I would just continue to psych myself out to the point where I never applied.
Yeah. And
just even going through the interview, like, all my interview days, I just remember, like, literally about to be having a panic attack or, like, an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
And he was always the balance. So, we helped each other in ways that we were weak.
And I think, so that's good. I think this is a good segue now, kind of going to our marriage now. So now we can we talked about building on our friendship in college. And growing with each other, just from kids to adults, and now we can talk about the marriage and that whole time. I graduated December of 2018, and I proposed to her right then at the day of my graduation, or at graduation. I proposed, right? And obviously, y'all saw the video on episode 1. I showed y'all the video on episode 1. I proposed to her. No money, no job. I don't know what I'm about to do, but hey, I know it's my wife. I know she rock with me till the day I die. Like I know she is. I know we meant for each other. I know we ain't going nowhere. So it just felt right to do it at that moment.
But even though you proposed, so this is what I told him, and he went to it literally.
Oh,
I always said, once we realized that we wanted to get married, I said, I'm not saying yes until you have graduated from college. It's no way we gonna be able to support ourselves if at least one of us. I knew I was not gonna be working a job for at least another 8 years because I was gonna be in school. So it's like one of us has to have a job. So do not propose to me until after you graduate from college. We have to wait until you graduate from college for us to get married. And he literally walked across the stage.
Walked across the stage and did it. I did it to the T. Like you told me to do it this way, or you said this is the criteria.
Don't propose.
So I went right to the criteria. I graduated. Here you go. And so.
But I always let it be known that even if we were living in a cardboard box, that I would still rock with you.
And that's why it's so important to be with someone that you're friends with. It's so important to be friends in a relationship and in a marriage. Because when you're friends, you're willing to go through dark times with someone. You're willing to build with someone. You're willing to go through challenges with someone when you're close friends. Whereas it's not someone where I just met. There's like this give and take relationship. It's almost like a transaction. Some relationships are transactional, where I'm with you because of what you can give me, not for the mere fact I really genuinely love you because you are. I just want to be with you. You are the person that I enjoy being around. I love when you make me laugh. I love conversations with you. I love the way you treat me. I love just being in the same room with you. That's a friend. And that's someone that you're willing to build with and go through hell and hot water with and like go through the mud with, and so I think.
And we went through a mud period. It was short, but we did go through. For me, it was a mud period because I had not gone through nothing like that. Hold
on. Let's. So what's this? Hold on. I need to make sure. What's this mud period? What
I was just saying in the beginning. So you did eventually find a job. He found a job.
We was gonna get to that thing. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get to that. But anyways.
You said we was on that point.
Yeah. So now we're engaged, right? Mm-hmm. She's in Memphis. I'm going back and forth, Little Rock to Memphis, staying with my grandma, and then coming to visit her, and staying with my grandma and stuff. And so, at that point, struggling to find a job. My grandma knew somebody who knew somebody that got me a job at Textbook Brokers. Well, it was this warehouse that sold textbooks to schools. So I worked there first in Little Rock. So I was working for this warehouse, not making no money. Good hours though, really good hours, but not making no money. And I was just saving up for the honeymoon and for the wedding, right? Because how could I say? Let's say this in a polite way. I think the people that actually did help, with the wedding and with helping us out with getting stuff together, but we didn't have just a whole lot of help.
We just had to finance which was fine.
Yeah, so
we had a small wedding.
We had a small wedding, so we had to finance ourselves. So I'm scraping, I'm working, scraping, make sure I have money for the deposit on the rent house, the wedding, and the honeymoon. So I'm saving up, right? I'm saving. So I had just enough for all three, right? We had enough to do our honeymoon in Phoenix, Arizona. We had enough for our wedding with the help of, some family. And we had enough to put down payment on the rent house, right? Crazy thing about that time, it was.
I didn't really feel.
It didn't feel difficult.
That's why I don't remember feeling that.
Because I was so giddy. I was so in love. I was so ready for us to be in union. That whole period before the marriage, I actually enjoyed that time. It was just a good time, and
it's like it was so much build up. It's for us to like finally live together and be together. It was just like. We got $2 to our name, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Because we get to finally be together.
Right.
So that was fun.
That's how it was.
But yeah, I didn't realize how broke we was until going back to be like, we literally I was still getting refund checks from school. It was small refund checks, but I was still getting refund checks from school.
Right.
Without the refund checks, we probably wouldn't have survived.
Right.
At least not the first year.
That's a fact because that first year, now going into the marriage, I finally moved up. We moved up to Memphis. My family had a rent house out here already that they allowed me to move in. So thank y'all for that. And so I transferred from the warehouse in Little Rock to a textbook broker that's connected to the warehouse.
That was on University of Memphis campus.
Yep, University of Memphis campus. So I started working there. And the plan was to work there and be their IT guy because they needed someone to help build the network in that building. And so I was going to be the guy that they was going to use. Well, I think it was all kind of a game just to get me to go up there, work, and then fire me, which we'll get into that. So anyways, I move up to the textbook brokers in Memphis. I start working there. Like I said, for pennies, man. Yeah, worked there for maybe 3 months. Still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then while I'm working for textbook brokers, I start getting ads about education, Teach for America. I start seeing things about education. And so, quick story, quick aside about how about how God worked, right? So, throughout college, in the summer times, I used to always do internships with kids. So, my sophomore year, I did an internship for the city of Little Rock where I was working at my aunt's daycare. She had a daycare. Or really like a youth summer program. I'll say that. So it's a youth summer program through the city of Little Rock that I worked at sophomore year. The next summer.
No, that was summer after.
I know. So next summer I did a tech internship my junior year. So I went to Cincinnati and I worked for a tech startup company out there during that summer. But then, my senior year. That summer, I worked for a program called Verizon Innovative Learning Program, where we taught inner city youth about STEM. So I had a lot of experience with younger kids, and I enjoyed my time tutoring and mentoring the youth. I really did enjoy that. But, I'm not thinking about teaching. I'm not thinking about education. I'm still stuck on IT. I'm like, I need to make this work. Whatever I need to do, I need to make this work, right? And it wasn't nothing working. there was no doors open for me for IT, like zero. All of them was closed, right? Like I was applying to like 50 jobs a day type stuff. Like wasn't nothing hidden. And like I kept seeing ads on my computer. Like I'm just scrolling through, seeing stuff about Teach for America. Stuff would just pop up here and there. And it was like, I don't know, some image just like, just apply. And so I applied. Like I don't know why I applied. I just like,
this is crazy.
It was
I
weird.
came home from class one day and he's like, I think I'm gonna apply for Teach for America. And I was like, Teach for America? You ain't never
said
said
about education, teacher.
Like you just, at this point, you're trying to get a job. But like Teach for America is a big commitment. So I was like, okay, like just find a job. I really don't care. Just make sure you find a job.
Yeah.
But that was completely left. I had never heard him say nothing about teaching.
Yeah.
At this point, we both was like, I was looking around for opportunities for IT. Like even UT has like a health informatics masters, and I was like, why don't you apply for that? Like, just IT was still on both of our minds.
Yeah, and so I started getting this unction that maybe education is where I need to be. Like it started like clicking. Like I need to probably switch over to education. Like I really enjoy it. I've had some experience with the youth. Like this might be the route I need to go, right? And so obviously, I get fired from Texas Brokers. And here's the thing about that. He let me know 2 days before he fired me to fire me. Like, so like.
Which is crazy. That was another, everything would happen.
Because at that point, the reason why I got fired is because I kept taking interviews for like schools and to teach and like be a teacher. Because at that point I was applying to be a teacher assistant. So I was applying to be a teacher assistant. I was applying for different stuff. And I was taking interviews, and I remember one day, I guess he saw that I was on my way out. And I said, I need to be out tomorrow because I got an interview at this school, right, for this teaching assistant position, right? And he was like, oh, yeah, by the way, by Friday, we're not going to need you no more. Like, dang, like, no time, 2 weeks, no nothing. So, obviously, we in this beautiful rent house, right, got all these responsibilities, and now all of a sudden I ain't got no job, right? So, I'm just like, dang, stressing, worrying. So then, obviously, nothing.
But I honestly wasn't worried. To be honest, like now I'm thinking back, I just like I'm not. I was stressed during this time, like stressed.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure it out, yo.
The textbook broke her job in the first place.
Nah, I didn't, man.
And so like he would come home every day so depressed. But he was like, I don't have no choice. Like I gotta
provide for my folks, for my family, man.
And so he just was stressed. But I was like, it's okay. Like we're gonna make it. This is just the beginning. Like we not gonna be here forever. And then once you got fired, I was like, oh my gosh. But I was like, he don't want to work there, so it's probably good. But then I was like, what are we gonna do?
The crazy thing is,
it felt like forever though when you didn't have a job, but it literally was 9 days.
2 weeks.
It wasn't even
not even 2 weeks.
It was 9 days.
Because I started subbing. So after Texas Brokers, I started subbing for Memphis Shelby County Schools, and so I started subbing. I did that for probably a good 4 months.
Was it that long?
3 or 4 months.
No, from September to December. It was October to December.
Like, I need something more solid, something more stable that I can, feed my family for real. Because them sub checks were actually pretty straight.
Yeah, they were actually good.
But it's not stable enough. I can't get paid for them breaks.
And the break was coming up. It was like Christmas break was coming up.
So Christmas break, I was out for them 2. I was out for them 2 weeks. Wasn't getting no money.
We need we were not to the point where we didn't even have a savings account. Nah. So we definitely was not to the point where we were saving no money.
Nah. So then I'm applying for these teaching assistant positions. But still, once again, still making barely making ends meet. Still getting up bills paid, everything paid.
Never went to. That is one thing.
Never missed a meal, never missed a bill, never missed nothing.
We never had to
even going through stuff. Yeah.
So that was good. Even though it just was, we didn't have a lot of excess, but we always had our bills paid.
So fast forward, teacher assistant, still barely making ends meet, but still enjoying life. I'm enjoying my marriage.
Yeah, we had fun.
That whole time was very fun, even though we ain't making no money, but it's fun, right? Because once again, we're friends.
Yeah.
We just love being with each other. So even though times are hard, it didn't seem so. It didn't seem so hard.
We didn't need money in the beginning.
Right? We didn't need that money, that much money in the beginning, right? We just really didn't. So the next thing you know, baby. It wasn't even planned. We wasn't even planning on having one, but baby coming into play. And boy, when I tell you, I trust in God. I trusted in God to help us, to elevate us, because I know He's not going. The ones that are faithful, He's not going to leave you in lack. I do believe in scriptures when it talks about how He won't leave you nor forsake you. So I truly the word was my safe haven throughout this time, because like I'm just thinking in my head, I'm just thinking like, man, I trust God, I trust you, but like, man, how am I going to be able to take care of not only a woman now, but now a child now? Like, I'm not making enough money, like I'm not making enough, and so
because daycare is not cheap. That was my biggest concern. It was like we up here with no family. All our friends, I mean, they got kids, but they work. So it's like, we got to put our son in daycare. It's soon. I'm in the middle of rotations. So it's like, I had to go back to school immediately. I had to go back to school 3 weeks after I had a baby. Yeah. And so it's like, he has to have a daycare, like, immediately.
That's a fact. And so
it was no way we made it. We barely made enough money to pay for the stuff we had.
And so we already had.
There's no way we're going to pay for daycare.
And so,
minimum, you spend $1,000 a month.
Yeah, and so that was like a time where there was a lot of prayer, a lot of asking God to like guide me and what I need to do, because obviously I needed elevation, and so it's funny how God will steer you where you need to go, and where you think you need to go, He'll block places to open up the other doors for you. Just so happened, right? I'm praying, I'm seeking for confirmation of what I need to do. Just so happened in my school email, there was a career fair, a job fair for, people looking for full-time teachers. Anyways, so I just happened to look at my email. I don't know why I'm looking here, because I never look. So I look and I see something about a career fair. And so I was like, I guess, I'll check it out, see what's up. And something in me felt like, I'm gonna get something, man. Like, I'm gonna get something. And even my wife had, you could tell them about what you heard.
I just felt like you went. I remember that morning, like we always pray before we leave and go to work. But I just remember praying that morning, and after I was just like, "You gonna get a job? Like you gonna get a job?" And at this point, he had been on several interviews, so it was. I guess it just could have just been another interview. Yeah. But I don't know. I was just like, "Yeah, you gonna come home with a job, like." You're going to land a job. I'm not worried no more because you're going to get a job after this.
Yeah, she had a dream about it, y'all.
I did. I forgot. I did have a dream.
She wasn't going to talk about that.
I forgot that I did have a dream.
She had a dream about it. And so whenever she dreams or whenever she sees things, it
does not happen often.
Whenever God puts stuff in her heart, I listen. She's a woman full of wisdom. She has great things within her, so I listen to her.
I've only had like 3 dreams.
Because, that's why she's my Isha, right? She's my Azer, my helpmeet. I love her. Anyways. So I go to the job fair. I talked to about 6-7 different schools at the job fair, and I was offered 3 jobs. I was offered 3 positions. 2 at some really ratchet schools, and 1 at a school that I really enjoyed. And now I'm still teaching. I enjoy it. And it's catapulted me into, new heights. I'm almost done with my master's program, and, looking to elevate in education, whether that's being a principal, assistant principal, eventually maybe years down the line, running my own school, maybe running my own yeshiva, Jewish school, who knows? But, I have a clear path of what I want to do. I have clear goals now, and I know exactly what it is that well, not exactly, but I have a really, really good idea of what I'm going to be doing now within the next 5 to 10, 15 years for sure. So it's been quite a journey. When you build with someone, not only financially, but when you build physically, mentally, spiritually, and you're really, really good friends with your spouse, and you really build from the ground up, you appreciate that person so much more, right? You're willing to deal with that person. You're willing to deal with all their quirks. You're willing to deal with all of their, even all of the things that you don't like about them. You're willing to go through all of the, ups and downs with that person, because you have so much invested with that person, right? It wasn't just microwave relationship. There's years and years of investment, and so you wanna do all that you can to make sure it works. And that's why when you're friends with someone, you're going to do everything that you possibly can to make it work, because friends sometimes have fights. right? Friends sometimes don't get along. Friends sometimes don't like each other at some points. Friends sometimes, go through ups and downs and have arguments and stuff. But if you're a true friend, you always come back. You always work it out, right? And so that's why it's important, to build. Because if you're just looking for, I need this, this, and this, this, and this before I get with you. Now when things go left, you don't have as much invested, and it's easier for someone like that to leave. If that makes sense. So what you think?
And I think when you build with somebody and you like really feed off of each other, and you realize we needed each other to get to the point that we're in, it makes you appreciate each other more. But I think it's a lot of times, and I still struggle with this sometimes, but I think a lot of times when you accomplish so much by yourself, which is nothing wrong if you don't get married or don't get married younger and you accomplish a lot. But I think when you accomplish so much by yourself, then it gets to the point where you become like, I don't need you. I accomplished all this without you, so I don't need you. I can do all this by myself. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being able to do it by yourself. But I think it gets to the point where you don't really value your significant other to the same level like I do. I need you from the standpoint of like, not that I'm needy, but I need you because I enjoy when we can build together.
Yeah.
So not to this point like, I really don't need you. I can do all this by myself, which I struggle with sometimes.
Well, yeah, I guess sometimes when you get mad enough, you'll go there, right? But yeah, so like I said, it's very important to build, man. It's beautiful to build with someone.
I think our society has made it a bad thing. It makes the
relationship so much. It makes it so worth it.
It's like sweeter to accomplish.
It's sweeter to accomplish someone like I can say every major accomplishment, in my adult life, man. Like we've been able to share every single thing with each other, from graduations, to first jobs, educational accomplishments, first cars and houses. Well, not first cars, but like I guess buying a first car, buying first house, all the things that we're able to do now from where we started. Sometimes I just look back at our journey like,
we have so many memories.
We went through so many things, man, good and bad, but all of it helped us get to this point. And we needed those bad times too. And we needed those bad times because those bad times also sharpened us and sharpened us. And it really proved that we in this for the long haul. Because you have to go through that fire. You have to be refined, right? It's very important to go through the fire. That way you come on the other end refined. And so every relationship, you got to go through that because you're going to have those moments where you're tried, you're tested, you're challenged. And so if you are able to get through that with your spouse, man, the sky's the limit, for the relationship. So
I enjoy building with you because I enjoy seeing your accomplishments. Like I wanted to be the person who cheered you on for your accomplishments. Like looking back now, it's just like I wanted to be your biggest cheerleader, and it was the same. You were always my biggest cheerleader from the beginning. Like you've always been my biggest cheerleader. Yeah,
that's what true friends do. True friends, are going to be your biggest cheerleaders, man. Like, but once again, when you don't have anything invested with somebody, you just get with somebody because, they fit this checklist or this criteria, and they seem to be great. You're not so invested on being their biggest cheerleader. A lot of it is, a lot of your motives are more selfish, right? And more selfish when you're not close friends with your spouse. So my advice, just to end this off, is just my advice to anyone out there. One, don't be going out looking for no relationship. I think, when you focus on getting yourself together, the right person will eventually come. That's what happened with us. We wasn't necessarily looking, but we were focused on getting ourselves right, and we eventually became right for each other. So one, don't seek relationships. Usually when you seek relationships, you miss red flags and you're willing to deal with stuff that you shouldn't be dealing with. So that's one. But two, make sure that you're intentional on building with someone. Don't just look for something that's ready-made, right? Because that is not the key to a long lasting, for like forever marriage. You know, there's very, very seldom marriages that last 20, 30, 40, 50 years now. Like, that's very rare now. So if that's the case, if that's rare, you need to do all you can to make sure you're with someone that you know for sure you're going to be with forever. And that's the only way you know that is if you are building, if you're friends with that person first. You have to be friends first. Be willing to build with that person, right? And I'm speaking, and I'm particularly speaking to everybody in my age range, right? Because obviously older age ranges, you know, a lot of times sometimes you already have kids, maybe you have been divorced before, or, you know, just already in a financial position where you're not necessarily building from the ground up, so to speak. I get that, but I'm more so speaking to my age range, people that's from that 18 to like 28ish range, 30 range, right? That be willing to build, because it makes the relationship so much more worth it. It makes it's a beautiful thing to go through the rigors of going from nothing to now you have so much together.
Yeah, and even, I mean, we have accomplished.
And we still have
goal,
way more we want to do.
Yeah, we still have way more we want to accomplish. But just looking back to, we've only been married for almost 4 years, and just the transition that we have made just in 4 years.
Just no 4 years.
It's just like we went from. I will never say we didn't have anything, because we had a lot, but we went from a very humble financial beginning to where we are now, which is not even close to where we want to be. So. Yeah. But we've been fortunate to be able to buy our first house together, and I would never imagine it would happen as quick as it did.
Yeah, from very quickly. Yeah.
But so it's just like that, just being able to reflect back with that same person, just be like, we can't, just to see our beginnings, which motivates me to keep going.
Yeah.
To accomplish more goals.
That's a fact, you know.
But yeah, be willing to build, because it's sweeter. It's just to accomplish those things with your best friend.
Yeah, even the Proverbs talk about how, you know, a righteous woman or a good woman, she builds. She builds, right? So it's always good to build. You know, Most High, He does not forsake the righteous. So as long as you do what you're supposed to do, and you're faithful to the Most High, and you're doing all that you can to, you know, be the best version of yourself you can be, and also be as selfless as possible and taking care of your loved ones and the people that you're close to. Most High bless you, man, and. You just gotta be willing to build, yo. I enjoyed this one, episode 7. You know, it's been a good journey doing these episodes. You know, I'm enjoying this, and if you have anything that you want to hear, or any topics that you want to discuss, you know, please hit us up in the chat or hit us up in the comments of anything that you want to talk about, anything you want to hear us talk about, whether relationships, whether biblical, whether just anything in life in general. Just put some topics in there, and we'll do our best to discuss them to the best of our knowledge of what we know. You know, so this has been Shabbat Conversations with the Avads. This has been great. All right, so we'll see y'all later. Peace.